What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Triple Z podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah Henry. We got an Eastern versus West conference matchup between the Dallas Mavericks and the Milwaukee Bucks. Bucks being on a 3-game winning streak, and the Dallas Mavericks being the third seed in the Western Conference. There was a lot of star power and superstar power in this game. You have the combination of Luka and Kyrie, one of the best backcourt in the entire association, and then another duo between Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo, a great point guard and big duo as well. For this game overall, it was a pretty close matchup for the Bucks and the Dallas Mavericks. It was pretty much back and forth. Neither team, didn't really gain a humongous lead. I think the biggest lead in this game was 10 points going into halftime by the Dallas Mavericks. So this game was really close. I thought Milwaukee did a great job of keeping the game close because Milwaukee was down for majority of this game until they started to get it going in that second half. But for starters, Dallas did a great job of controlling the game early. I think Luka had a really great first half, scored 12 points. He was getting his teammates going, hitting the three ball. What I thought about Luka, though, in that first quarter, he was scoring, but he was also doing a lot of foul hunting as well. I thought, when he was put in those situations where he was trying to get the foul and didn't get the foul, he did a lot of complaining to the referees and didn't get back on defense. That's something that can, hurt the Dallas Mavericks a little bit if, especially against a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, with Giannis being able to get out in transition like that. I mean, you got to get back on defense. You got to, get back on the other end and hold it down. I thought Mavericks overall, though, as a team, did a pretty great job of, defending, the Milwaukee Bucks players on the perimeter and not the interior, because on the interior, I mean, they got exposed for their interior defense because Giannis was able to have a field day getting inside the paint. I mean, there was 3 or 4 times where he was just able to spin and then end up right at the rim. I mean, Derek Lively, he's a pretty solid player, but he can't keep Giannis from, getting inside the paint. Same thing with Grant Williams. Grant Williams had the assignment of guarding Giannis, which isn't an easy assignment at all. But, Grant Williams had to guard him, and, he did an okay job, even though Giannis finished with 40 points and majority of them coming inside, scoring in the paint. But, what kept Dallas in this game, even though, Kyrie didn't have a great first half, he had 6 points. He was really, struggling to find his shot and find his rhythm in that first half. But, players like Grant Williams and Tim Hardaway Jr., 2 players that I think are crucial for the Dallas Mavericks if they want to, make a deep playoff run, make the playoffs first of all, and then make a deep playoff run, late in May and June. I think those 2 players are really helpful to the Dallas Mavericks offense because they can both hit the three, they can space out the floor. They're 2 players that can really do a little bit of everything. Grant Williams, is probably their best perimeter defender. He's probably going to be guarding the best player most nights. And with Tim Hardaway Jr. coming off the bench, he can definitely have a 6-man performance for the entire season and hopefully end up winning the 6-man award. But having him come off the bench is a great, momentum boost, for your bench, because he can flat out score the basketball. It's players like Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Monk. Those are the 2 type of players that remind me of, a little bit of Lou Williams, just professional scorers. They're going to get a bucket regardless of how they get it. Tim Hardaway Jr., he was hitting, a couple 3-pointers that were deep, and he was knocking them down like it was nothing. He can hit some contested 3-point shots. He can hit deep ones. He can create his own shot coming off of screens. I think he's a really great addition. Not addition because he's been on the Mavericks for a couple years now, but he's a really great asset for the Dallas Mavericks. But even though, the Dallas Mavericks had the game, at a 10-point advantage, Milwaukee did do a great job of, keeping the game close. I mean, and that starts off with Giannis. I mean, he was able to really get it going downhill. Like I said before, the Dallas Mavericks interior defense really got exposed because Giannis was just able to get in there like it was nothing. I mean, Derek Lively couldn't keep him out of the paint. Grant Williams couldn't keep him out of the paint. So, I mean, he was just having a field day. Milwaukee also did a great job of, knocking down the 3-point shot. Connington, I believe his name is. He did a great job of knocking down some threes. Giannis hit a 3-pointer here and there. Who else? Cameron Payne did a great job of knocking down some threes. I think Milwaukee Milwaukee did a great job of, having the others like Cameron Payne, Connington, Bobby Portis, helping the offense run fluently because Damian Lillard, as well as Kyrie, both of those players didn't really start the game off well. They were trying to find their rhythm, and they eventually did. This is also a game without Chris Middleton, obviously the 3rd Milwaukee star for the Bucks. I think he's probably out with rest. So for Milwaukee to get this win against a great offensive team like the Dallas Mavericks, who's 3rd in the West, it's a really great win for them. I was really looking forward to this game because I knew you have so much superstar power. It's going to be a great game regardless. You're going to see some great performances, and rightfully so we did. There was each player, Giannis, Luka, Kyrie, Dame, they all put up great performances. Second half is really when it started to get really interesting because Dallas really controlled the third quarter and Milwaukee really controlled the fourth quarter. Dallas in the third quarter started the game on a 9-0 run. Luka and Kyrie were going off in that third quarter, especially Kyrie Irving. He really started to get it going, like I said, in that second half. I mean, being able to hit the three, get into his spots, hitting the floaters, being able to switch from right to left. I mean, the best play of the night for Kyrie Irving was when Grant Williams passed it to Kyrie Irving cutting inside the paint, and then Kyrie was just able to do some up and under layup and get the and one. I thought that was one of the best plays of the night for the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas in that third quarter scored 40 points, and just for them to put up so much points in a quarter is ridiculous. Like I said, you got one of the best, if not the best, scoring backcourt duo between Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. Another thing that really helped Dallas in that third quarter was they were daring Giannis to shoot the basketball. I think Giannis probably took maybe several jump shots and didn't really make any of them. It was a lot of turnaround fadeaway shots, which isn't really a part of Giannis's game. But, shout out to him for attempting it. It's something like that. If you don't practice it, or at least attempt it in the game, that means you don't have the confidence in it. But shout out to Giannis for at least putting those shots up. He didn't really make all of them, but he did do a good job at least putting them up. But, I think that was the Dallas Mavericks game plan, daring Giannis to shoot because, he was getting inside the interior. So once you clog up the paint, I mean, how effective can Giannis be outside on that perimeter hitting the jump shot? But then Dame also in that third quarter, even though the Dallas Mavericks scored, how much they scored? They scored 40 points. Dame started to get it going. Like I said, he was struggling. Not struggling, but it's like he wasn't trying to score in that first half. But then once the second half started, he was starting to find his rhythm. He was starting to, knock down the three-point shot. He was getting to the free throw line. As a great scorer, if you're struggling to score the basketball, the easiest way to get points, up for yourself is to get to the free throw line. You're stopping the clock and you're putting points on the scoreboard. So I thought Dame did a great job of, getting contact and trying to get to the free throw line. That's how you get yourself, going as a great scorer. You're seeing the ball going easily at the free throw line. So Dame really started to get it going in that third quarter. And then for the fourth quarter, that's when everything really started to get really, really back and forth. Dallas had like a 5-point lead, and then Milwaukee would just chop it down. They went on the run themselves. Dame started to really play make and help others, find their shot. I think it was 2 passes he made to Connaughton in the corner, which really made a little bit more interesting because Dallas had to find a way to, answer back. But for Milwaukee in that fourth quarter, Dallas put up 40 points in the third quarter. Milwaukee put up 43 points in the fourth quarter. So I thought it was a really great job of Milwaukee trying to, match Dallas on the offensive side of the ball. But then what really, helped Milwaukee expand the lead just a little bit, even though they were up by like 3 points and made it a 5-point game. Milwaukee really started to lock in defensively. It was really difficult for Luka to find his shot in that fourth quarter. Kyrie in the fourth quarter was amazing. He was able to get into the lane multiple times and finish at the rim, knocking down some mid-range shots, knocking down 3-point shots. So Milwaukee did a great job of, at least stopping Luka. They did a great job of, at least stopping Luka. Something else that stood out to me about that game, I don't know, I think it was 5 minutes within the fourth quarter. Luka got fouled, got sent to the free throw line. He missed 2 of his free throw shots. And then the very next play, Giannis gets fouled and makes 2 of his free throw shots. I don't know why, but that sequence kind of stood out to me a little bit. Something that stood out to me again was Giannis didn't knock down any jump shots until the last jump shot he took. That really, expanded the lead to a 5-point game. I thought that was interesting for him to have, the confidence of, not knocking down your jump shots all game, but then when the game's on the line, really, for you to expand the lead, he took that jump shot with confidence and he knocked it down. I thought that was a really great moment for the Milwaukee Bucks and for Giannis, giving it to him, understanding that, he is the guy. I thought Giannis is the guy on the Milwaukee Bucks. I know he said it multiple times that it's Damian Lillard's team, but it's Giannis' team. And for him to take that shot, create enough space to get the shot off and knock it down, that's really big for Milwaukee. If Giannis can start doing that, hitting those mid-range shots, hitting those jump shots, Milwaukee can be really, really dangerous. Not that they're not dangerous right now, but if Giannis can, add that to his game, that little 15-foot jump shot, Milwaukee can really be a problem for the entire league. But, you had the superstar power between, all 4 of those players, Luka, Kyrie, Dame, and Giannis, but it was also a great effort by, the bench for both teams. Like I said, Tim Hardaway Jr. had 17 points. He was great off the bench. And then for the Bucks, you had Cameron Payne, Bobby Portis, Connaughton knocking down those two huge threes in the left corner for the Milwaukee Bucks. Those were huge. So, it was a great game overall, back and forth. It was a great game to watch. I was really looking forward to this game since, the beginning of the week, Monday. Out of all those performances, I think Luka had 30, probably close to a triple-double. Kyrie had 32 in the second half. Dame had 27 and 12. Giannis had a 40-point double-double. The best performance, or the performance I was, intrigued with the most, was Kyrie's performance. I thought Kyrie had the best performance out of all four of those players. The way it was like a switch for him. Like I said, he didn't really have it going in the first half, but once that second half started, to score 32 points it was in a half is ridiculous. He was doing it in all sorts of ways, getting to the free throw line, knocking down the mid-range shot, hitting the floaters, being able to, break you down in the isolation. He was just able to score the basketball so effortlessly. So his performance against the Bucks, I was most, impressed with. Out of all four of those players, potentially 4 Hall of Famers on the court, his performance was outstanding to me, honestly. So it was a great win for the Milwaukee Bucks. Now they're 9-4 on a 4-game winning streak in the East, and the Dallas Mavericks now 9-4 in the Western Conference themselves. Both teams are doing great this season. Can this potentially be a finals matchup? The Bucks have a legit chance of getting to the finals, because the Eastern Conference is really going to come down to most likely, either 76ers, Bucks, Celtics, and maybe the Cavaliers. But for the Mavericks, the West is packed. You still got Golden State. OKC's looking like a problem. They just won back-to-back games against the Golden State Warriors. The Lakers are starting to get it going, being 3-0 in the in-season tournament. Sacramento's starting to come back together since they got De'Aaron Fox back. The West, and then you still got the Denver Nuggets. The Western Conference is packed, and it's pretty much really unpredictable. But both teams can potentially make some noise in the playoffs, and hopefully they do. I'm looking forward to this matchup back in, Dallas. I think this is a really great game to watch because you have so much superstar power between all four of those players, like I mentioned before. But it was a great game to watch, though. But thank you guys for listening to Triple Z Podcast. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you thought about this game down in the comment section below.